Hello, I'm Miss Ashley from Fevo Kids Art Academy, and welcome to another amazing art class. For our project today, we're going to be painting some Halloween pumpkins. Let's go ahead and get started with our pumpkins. We're going to be creating a vampire and a purple spider. Before we get started with the actual drawing on our pumpkin, make sure that you paint one of your pumpkins light green and the other a light purple. Now, if you're not painting a pumpkin today, no worries because we're actually going to be drawing a pumpkin as well. So before we get started with with painting our pumpkin, we're actually going to draw it. Now, if you need to take that moment to paint your pumpkin, you can always go ahead and pause the video. Again, one of your pumpkins needs to be green and the other purple. But if you are ready to start with our drawing step, you can go ahead and follow along with me. I would like for you to use a pencil for your drawing, but I'll be using a Sharpie so you can see my lines. Now we're going to be drawing two ovals. So I'm going to start on the right side. Make sure that your paper is horizontal. And we're going to draw an oval. So this is going to be our first pumpkin. And then we are going to be drawing another oval. This time, however, it is hiding a little bit behind the other pumpkin. So we'll go ahead and draw that oval. After you've drawn those ovals, we're going to add the pumpkin stems. We'll start on the left side first by drawing a curved line up, slanted line, and then curved line back down. And we'll do the same thing on the right pumpkin. Curved line up, slanted line down, and curved line back in. Great job with drawing those pumpkins. Let's make sure that they're sitting on either a step or a kitchen table by drawing those two lines, one on each side. Great job. Now before we get started with actually drawing on our painted pumpkins, let's go ahead and start drawing our first pumpkin. So what we need to do is you're going to get your pencil, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw two circles for the eyes. Then you'll add those eyebrows by drawing two curved lines, a triangle for the nose, and this triangle is fairly long. Then you'll draw a curved line for the mouth and a U-shaped curve for the bottom of the mouth. Now we'll add those teeth because remember vampires have those sharp teeth by drawing a curve, straight line, curve, and straight line. Now we want to show that our vampire has a chin or a small goatee, so we're going to draw a letter V for the chin. Now we also need to add the hair. We're going to go to the left side of our left pumpkin, and we're going to draw kind of what looks like a letter M. You're going to curve up, then down, up, and over. Now, if you don't have a painted pumpkin on you, that is okay. You can go ahead and just start outlining only this pumpkin right now. However, if you do have a pumpkin that is painted, we're going to go ahead and repeat the step that we did on this pumpkin onto our painted pumpkin. Now remember, it is important that your painted pumpkin is already dry because it is a little bit hard to add those details on a wet pumpkin. You're going to take a Sharpie and you're going to draw right on your pumpkin. So let's go ahead and start with those eyes. For the eyes, we're going to draw 2 circles. Now make sure you're using a Sharpie. So once you have those 2 circles drawn, you're going to add the eyebrows. Then you'll add that long triangle for the nose. Draw that smile for the mouth. And draw a curve-shaped U underneath. And then you'll add those things by drawing a curved line with a straight line, curved line with a straight line. And then don't forget the letter V for the chin. Now the hair is going to be a little bit different because we need to make sure that it connects back to the top of the pumpkin. So first what we're going to be doing is drawing a letter M on each side, or excuse me, we're going to draw those 2 curved lines. So like we drew that letter M, but we're going to go to the side, draw a straight line on each side, and then we're going to draw that line up to your pumpkin stem. Great job on drawing that vampire face on your pumpkin. Now I'm going to put this aside for now, and we're going to draw the details on our spider pumpkin. But we're not drawing on our actual pumpkin yet. We're only drawing on our paper first. So right now we just drew our vampire. For the spider pumpkin, you're going to draw 2 circles for the eyes. Inside of those eyes, you're going to draw a curved line and another curved line, because those are the eyelids to the eyes. And inside, you'll draw a circle in each eye. Now you can change those eyebrows up a bit. You can have them looking a little bit mad or a little confused. I'm going to have a rainbow eyebrow here and a U-shaped curve on the other one. Again, I want you to make sure that you're using this in pencil. Your Sharpie is used for your pumpkin. And I'm also using a Sharpie so you can see my lines. For that smile, it's a stretched out U. And we'll add those curves on each side. And then just like with the vampire, we'll add those things by drawing a curved line and a straight line, a curved line, then a straight line. Now we're going to add those little warts or bumps that our pumpkin has. Now that we are done drawing our spider pumpkin, we're now going to be taking our purple pumpkin and drawing that same face on it. However, if you do not have a pumpkin, you can always go ahead and color this picture. But make sure that if you do, your picture looks something a little like this. This is mine drawn in pencil. What you're going to do is you're going to be outlining all of your pencil lines so that when you're done, your picture will look like this. Now, for my friends who don't have a painted pumpkin and are just going to be drawing, you can go ahead and outline. But in the meantime, I'm going to be drawing my spider's face on my pumpkin. So I'm going to start with those 2 circles for the eyes. And I'm using a Sharpie for this because that way it can stay on the paint. I'm going to add those curved lines for the eyelids and a circle inside. Then I'll add those eyebrows by drawing a rainbow and a U-shaped curve. And then my stretched out U for the smile. And then I can add those fangs by drawing a straight line and a curved line, straight line, and a curved line. And now I'll add those spots or bumps or warts or whatever you would like to call them on your pumpkin. You can add as many as you want or just a few. That is up to you. So when you're done, your pumpkin should look a little something like this, as well as this pumpkin right here. Now we're going to go ahead and get started with painting our pumpkins. I'm going to leave this picture on the side right here though so you can see what it looks like. Now I'm going to be taking my acrylic paint out. And I'm going to put my pencil aside because I no longer need it. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is using our black. Now depending on the size of your pumpkin, you may not need a lot of paint. But if you have a big pumpkin, you are going to need a lot of paint. I'm going to take my black and I'm going to be using a small brush just because my pumpkin is small. And I'm going to be painting my vampire pumpkin first. And the first thing that I'm going to be doing is painting the eyes. And I'm just very carefully filling in those eyes with my small brush. You can also do this with a Sharpie or a Crayola marker, but I find it looks really nice if I use that acrylic paint. Then, once you're done with that, you're going to fill in the nose. And again, I'm being very careful as I fill in those areas with my small brush. Also, you're going to fill in that mouth. However, don't fill in those teeth though. So I'm just very carefully going around my teeth. As close as I can to those lines. Again, I recommend using a small brush for this. If you would like to, you can go over your eyebrows to make them maybe a little bit thicker if you would like. This is a little bit of an advanced step, so if you need help from mom or dad, you can go ahead and ask them for that help. But when you are done filling in those areas, don't forget you're also going to fill in the hair. And I'm very carefully making sure to fill it in. Also, if you haven't already, make sure that you fill in your pumpkin stem black as well. But I'm just very carefully going to fill in the hair on my vampire. And I'm still using my small brush just to get as close as I can to those Sharpie lines that I created earlier. All right, almost done with my hair. All right, I'm gonna leave my vampire to dry on the side for a little bit. I am also going to be filling in these areas black with my black marker. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my black markers from my kit. I am going to be taking out my black marker and I am going to fill in those eyes. However, the difference with this one, however, with these vampire eyes, we actually want to draw a circle in them first. And you're going to fill in the area around that circle because we are creating a highlight for our vampire. And then we'll fill in the other areas black. And make sure you have that cap on the back and you're using those long strokes, top to bottom. And I'm also going to paint color in my stem for my pumpkin black and the hair. And I like to outline first. And just very carefully outline, making sure you get those white spots. And fill it in. Alright, almost done with my vampire pumpkin. I'm going to put my black marker away for now. And I'm going to be moving on to my spider pumpkin. Because, just like you did with the vampire, we're going to be filling in certain areas of our spider, which are going to be the eyes and also the dots on his body. So very carefully with that small brush, I'm going to be painting inside of his eye. And I will be painting in those dots. Alright, almost done with painting those dots. And if you haven't already, make sure to paint your pumpkin stem. Alright, I'm going to set that aside for my pumpkin to dry. And I am going to be doing the same thing to my spider pumpkin on my picture. By filling in those eyes. and the stem. Make sure you use those long strokes to fill in those white spots and fill in those spots. All right, check to make sure you got all those white spots. And what you're also going to be doing with your black marker is outlining around your pumpkin, just to make sure it's a little bit thicker. So be extra careful as you go around your pumpkin on your paper, not the actual one. So I just went through, making sure the outline's a little bit thicker. All right, I'm going to set that aside for now because I'm going to go back to my vampire pumpkin. This time, however, I am going to be using white paint, so I need to make sure that my brush that I use for the black paint is as clean as it possibly can get. And I am going to clean that off. Because acrylic paint doesn't get along well with water, so I need to make sure that it is dry. And I am going to be taking my white paint. And I'm going to start with my vampire pumpkin first. Now be careful because your paint might still be a little bit wet on your pumpkin. So if you need to hold it from the bottom, I suggest doing that. Just make sure you don't press those fingers where you've already painted. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our white paint and we're going to add some small dots inside of the eye. And then you're going to fill in those teeth. If you don't have that really small brush, I recommend using maybe a white pen or a white Sharpie. But just make sure you're trying your best to fill it in. So your pumpkin should look like this. Now we're also going to be doing the same thing on our spider pumpkin. We're going to fill in those white dots and the teeth. So your pumpkin should look like this. Let your pumpkins dry. If there's anything else you wanted to add for creativity, you can go ahead and do so. But I am going to be taking my picture and I'm going to finish it up. Now, next thing I'm going to be doing with my markers is I'm just going to be adding a shadow on the left side of my vampire and on the right side of my spider. So I'm going to take my light green first. I'm going to go on the left side of my vampire and I'm going to follow along on the left side. I'm just going to make that big long line. And I'll put that away. And this time I'm going to take my purple marker and do the same thing on the right side of my right pumpkin. Taking that purple and bringing it down and filling in that area. That's all I'm going to be using for my markers. Now I'm going to take my colored pencils. And I'm going to use my colored pencil to fill in the rest of my vampire's pumpkin head. And I'm making sure to get as close as I can to those strokes and fill it in. And if you need to sharpen your pencil, you can go ahead and do so. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right side with my purple. Now make sure you don't color over those teeth. But you are going to color over those eyelids. Once you're done with that, you can put your your colored pencils away and take out your chalk pastels. Now you can use any color you want. I'm going to be using purple for the top and yellow for the bottom. Now I'm going to pinch and pull around my pumpkins on the top. Put my chalk pastel back and blend. And if you need to add more of that chalk dust, you can go ahead and do so. I'm going to be adding just a little bit more. Now make sure when you are done, you use a wet wipe to clean those fingers, especially if you are changing to a different color for your table. So I'm going to clean my fingers off real quickly. I'm actually going to switch to orange at the bottom. And then I will blend. Now once you are done blending, whatever color that you used for your table, I recommend using a darker color underneath for a shadow. So I'm going to add a red shadow underneath by getting my chalk pastel and adding a curve underneath and underneath. And blend. If you have a lot of chalk dust, you can always tap it off the table. Now you can color your picture any way you want. This is just one way that I would color my picture. So we have created a vampire pumpkin, a spider monster pumpkin, and we have also created a picture as well. When you are done with your picture and painting your pumpkin, don't forget to clean those hands and clean off your table as well. Especially if you did use paint, it might be a little bit messy. Thank you so much for joining me today at Feepo Kids Art Academy. I hope you had a lot of fun, and we will see you next time. Bye!